Hey, do you remember when Carmelo said there is no I in team, but there is a me in Melo? What's up, y'all? We're back. We are the HoopStorians. I'm Tony Styles. That is unique over there in the bandana, in case you were
Oh yeah.
confused. Let's get into this date in NBA history. February 27th, 1959. Bob Cousy dishes off for then what was then an NBA record with 28 assists and a 173-139 win over the Lakers in the highest scoring game in NBA history at that time. Boston's 173 is still a non-overtime high for a game. It was also matched by Phoenix in 1990 when Phoenix scored either 110 or 112 in the first half. Um, the question is what's it going to take to break that record in the regular season? For example, Indiana is the highest scoring team this year with 157. And there's been 8 times this season or more somebody has scored 150. What's it going to take to get up to that, break that record?
It's probably gonna take a bunch of threes. It's gonna have to be a team that the whole team just so happens to be hitting threes that night.
Why didn't it? Why?
That's what I
Well, why is the first two records at 173 when one they didn't shoot threes at all in the 50s, and the second one the Suns they didn't really shoot threes back in 1990.
I understand that. But to answer your question as to what's it going to take now moving forward, that's what it's gonna take now because we're not seeing a lot of points in the paint like that these days. You feel me? That's the way they played back then. They're not playing like that now. Now they play the long ball. And when it's clanking, they're not going to get up there. But if the whole team get hot, and also we're seeing teams that are going through the whole roster trying to develop shots nowadays too, from the 1 to the 5. So it's going to take one of them teams who realistically got like 6 or 7 players on a team that's shooting at a high 30, like a 38 to 44%.
If any team got hot and did it, which team do you think that could possibly be?
Uh, I mean, it used to be Golden State at this point. I'm not sure. I don't know if there's enough shooters on each team for that, at least for what I'm describing. I could see a LA team doing it. Like I could see possibly Lakers getting hot like that. I could see one of the younger teams getting hot like that, like maybe even an Indiana. So
There we go. Well, that is this day in NBA history. Let's get into the best teams ever in the Northwest Division. We are going to have some comically small small battles in this one. Uh,
oh man.
so we're gonna start off, and I don't like to do this because it's hard to say with teams currently playing still. But we're gonna start off with the Minnesota Timberwolves. I have the '04 Timberwolves, and I really couldn't find another challenger after that, so I'm gonna have to go with this season's Timberwolves. If you if that's all I got, unless you want to throw in some more teams.
Nah, it's not that. What's funny is this season Timberwolves team because they haven't had much success as an organization and a franchise. This season is like in the top 10 for their best records, and it's crazy that this season is still ongoing and
25 games.
they've already
Yeah,
made it into the top 10.
right. 25
This
games
is about to
left.
be their best season yet. That's crazy.
Well, they still have to go to tie the mark. They still have to go. What is it? Would be 18-7 the rest of the way. So it is possible they could not tie the franchise record at 58 wins, but we'll see what's up. So let's get into the battle of the beasts. So we have the Minnesota Timberwolves. We have the 2024 Timberwolves first. They are third in simple rating system. They are 25th in pace. They are 17th in offensive rating. They are first in defensive rating. They have a net rating of third. Uh, their main guys are Edwards, Gobert, Towns, Conley, McDaniels, Nikolai, Naz Reid, Kyle Anderson. And we're going to put those up against the only other contender there is, the '04 Timberwolves. Um, Oh, they're 40-17, by the way. They went 58-24, the '04 Timberwolves. They were fifth in offensive rating, sixth in defensive rating, fourth in net rating. They had a simple rating system of second, and their pace was 21st out of 29. They beat the rookie Carmelo Nuggets. Then they beat the Kings in 7 without Weber. Then they lost to 6 in the Lakers without Sam Cassell. Their key guys were Kevin Garnett, Latrell Sprewell, a man who famously once turned down $21 million because he said he has a family to feed. Sam Cassell, Trenton Hassel, Wally Zerbiak, Fred Hoiberg, Irvin Johnson. Not that one, a different one. Michael Olakandi. Who you got? '04 Timberwolves or the '24 Timberwolves?
I'm going with the '04 Timberwolves. The reason I'm going with the '04 Timberwolves for one is because I mean they do
I'll
got
give you the first
KG.
tiebreaker tonight, just in case.
Okay. But
Okay.
what I was gonna say though is also I feel as now I feel as though currently there's probably a better team currently playing for Minnesota. But I feel as though that '04 team was a little bit more prepared. You feel me? You got, like I said, you got KG who's already been there. You got Spreewell, he's ready to go. I mean, unfortunately, Cassell was hurt, but at the same time, at this point, these are some veterans, but also they're still athletic. They're still hungry. They're still quite active. So I'm going with them just for the experience, just the fact that they've already experienced, playoff runs and stuff like that at that point. So I feel as though that would have given them the edge against this new team.
So I like I got to go with the '04 Timberwolves as well. I like Cassell better in the clutch. I don't think Conley has any answer for him on the block, and people don't realize
Correct.
how good Sam Cassell was on the block. Kevin Garnett is the best player in that series. This team is still why I think from a talent perspective, obviously this team is more talented, the 2024 Timberwolves. I just don't see a scenario where their youth gets them past the hungriness, the desire, the dedication, and especially Kevin Garnett as an ultimate gel guy, bringing everybody together. So we've heard about some friction about Carl Anthony Town losing the team. I don't know if he's, accepted that role, if he's still bitter about that. Um, yeah, so overall, I like how Rudy Gobert. It's amazing he gives you 12 a game with his offensive, with his skill set and his what's in his bag. So yeah, I like the
Yeah,
2004 Timberwolves as well. Um,
that's real talk though. Who's that? Whoop.
yeah, that's Wood Age 84. He said, with Prime Garnett, Spree, Cassell, and the great Michael eats candy. I don't know why they always get. I know it sounds like Ola Candy or the Candy Man, but he was never out in shape. So there we go. We have the '04 Timberwolves right off the bat with the as the best team ever in their in their franchise history. That might change after this year, but as of right now, through 57
Right.
games, that's what we got. Let's move on to the Jazz next, and this is going to be a sad one too. But at 98, 97, I couldn't really find anybody to challenge them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anybody else
Yeah.
you want to add?
I mean, honestly, no. Me, because other than that, who we got? Maybe the
Well,
'95 Jazz, which is pretty much the same team.
95 Jazz though lost in the first round.
Exactly. So,
You know what I
you
mean?
know,
So it's just with playoff success and wins. Yeah, those two are just far ahead above the rest. So let's get into it. We first have up the 98 Jazz. They were 62-20. They were third in points per game, 13th in opponents' points per allowed. They had a simple rating system of fifth. They were 21st in pace. They were first in offensive rating, 17th in defensive rating. They had a net rating of fourth in the league. They beat Barkley, Elijah One, and Drexler, retired Drexler in the first round. They beat a young Tim Duncan and a still his last good season, David Robinson in 5. They swept the Lakers when Kobe turned into Kobe Air Ball Bryant. Um, they beat them in 5, and then they lost to the Bulls in 6. Fun fact about that series: they put up the lowest points ever in a playoff game with 54 points. Um, yeah, their main core was Carl Malone, Byron Russell, Jeff Hornacek, John Stockton, Shandon Anderson, Howard Isley, Greg Ostertag. Um, 97 was 64-18. They were first in points, eighth in points allowed. They had an SRS of second. Their pace was 17th, offensive rating of second, defensive rating of 9, net rating of second. They swept the Clippers, led by the vaunted Loy Vaught. They beat the Lakers in 5. They beat the Rockets in 6. They lost to the Bulls in 6. And their team was the exact same. Who you got? 97 or 98?
I mean, since we're gonna end up with the same results at the end of the finals, I guess I'm going with the one with the better record for the season. Go with the
Okay.
97 Jazz.
Yeah. So who do you got in the matchup? Carl Malone versus Carl Malone.
Um, the one who's hitting the most points, the one who's hitting the most shots that night,
And what about Stockton versus Stockton?
whichever one of them got the most assists.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with we're gonna go with 97. Stockton's last great year, really. Yeah, I'm going with 97 Jazz as well. From the looks of it, they didn't learn when they put up 54 points in the finals that year. Everybody was talking about they've improved, they're ready to go, they got home court this year, and then they threw 54 points, and I was like, nah, this team ain't doing nothing. I think I quit watching the series after that, to be honest with you, because it was just in the bag. So I don't
Dang.
even think I didn't watch the last shot live or anything like that. I just knew Jordan was going to win, and there was really no point in watching it. So just like that, we are 11 minutes into the show, and we have already knocked out the Jazz and the Timberwolves. I'll tell you what's crazy is our last time we did, we took this to an hour and a half. This is going to be fun tonight because when
Hey,
we get
some
to
of these divisions, some of these conferences and divisions are, a little tougher, evenly matched. Unfortunately for this Northwest division, that doesn't appear to be the case. They just got, the two juggernaut teams, another team, and then unfortunately these wayside teams.
No, I agree with that. Um, so we're gonna go into the Nuggets next, and just to let you know, in the next 2 weeks when we do the Atlantic and Pacific, um, some of those we might have to break up in two parts. I mean, I think we could probably do a whole battle with just the Celtics and the Lakers alone. But let's get into these ones. Okay, so I have the 78 Nuggets, they went to the conference finals. I have the 85 Nuggets, they lost in the conference finals. I have the '09 Nuggets, they lost in the conference finals. And then I have last season's Nuggets. You want to add anybody else?
No, you said 78, 85. Who else?
'09 and
Uh,
23. So let's go with the 23 Nuggets. They beat the Timberwolves in 5. They beat the Suns in 6. They swept the Lakers, and they beat the Heat in 5. They were fifth in offensive rating, 15th in defensive rating, sixth in net rating. They were 12th in points per game, eighth in points allowed. Uh, their simple rating system, they were six, or their simple rating score was 6, and their pace was 23rd. Obviously, some of their key guys were Jokic, Murray, Gordon, Caldwell Pope, Porter Jr., Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, Braun, and then we're going to put them up against the 78 Nuggets. They went 48 and 34. They were sixth in points. They were 16th in opponents' points allowed. They had a simple rating score of eighth. Their pace was 6. They had an offensive rating of fifth, a defensive rating of 15th, net rating of eighth. They beat the Bucks in 7. They lost to the Sonics in 6. Their core guys was Skywalker, David Thompson, Dan Issel, Bob Wilkerson, Anthony Roberts, Bobby Jones, aka the Secretary of Defense, and Ralph Simpson and Darnell Hillman. Who you got? The 78 Nuggets or the 23 Nuggets?
I got the 23 Nuggets.
Shocker.
Yeah. Like I don't know if I really need to elaborate. For me, it's coming
Give us a
down to,
give us a little bit of elaboration for it.
well, at this point we've entered the era of the three ball, which is important because you have Jokic, who already has the fundamentals and who plays like these players from like the 70s. You feel me? But he also has a jumper. So not only is he just an in the paint guy, you feel me? Not only is he just like them, getting these rebounds, scoring in the paint, everything. He can step out across that line. But aside from him, he has other players on his team that are more athletic than what we were seeing in the 70s. They have better shots um, than we were seeing as far as their range goes. So yeah, I'm going because it's a faster paced ball. Even though the Nuggets aren't necessarily fast paced at all times, their pace up against the 70s team these days, yeah, I don't think they'll be able to compare.
So a couple things that really stand out to me is one, they only have one guy shooting over 50% in the rotation. That's Bobby Jones. And Bobby Jones is known for his defense, not his scoring. He's getting you 12 a game. He's only shooting the ball 8 times a game. They have two guys in the rotation, and Darnell Hillman and Bob Wilkerson's both shooting under 40%. Really, the big factor that factors into me is with all these athletic guys like Porter Jr., Gordon, especially Jokic. Who's going to get boards? Because all they had was Dan Itsel. He was getting 10 a game, and then nobody else was really even coming close to anything like that. They had no shot blocking. Their leading shot blocker in the playoffs was David Thompson. He was what, 6'3, 6'4 at 1.6 a game. So I just don't know who's stopping them. So yeah, the 78 Nuggets are out. I really thought they were going to make a run.
I have a
And
question.
they're what's up?
So obviously, Joker's going to be hard to stop in any era. But let's say a
Well, speaking
Gordon.
of
Let's
that, we
say
have a question. Who can stop Jokic?
exactly. He's unstoppable. There's no stopping Jokic. Jokic is one of them players, and there's only so many players that are like this. But Jokic is one of them players who he gets in his own head. Like it'd be very difficult for somebody to really stop him, just prevent him from anything. You can give him problems and everything like that. You can frustrate him, you can throw him off, but ultimately he's not one of them players that can get locked down or shut down. He's just too big of a force. Um, but what I was gonna say though was this though, for 78, like let's say you put like a Gordon up against them. You think any of them is stopping a Gordon?
No, it depends. So here's the biggest thing. So back in the day, and you can look this up. Look up Dominique Wilkins' Euro step. Right, that's called for a travel. So it depends what rules are. If they do that thing where you're just allowed to touch the top of the ball and nothing else, well, a lot of these 70 players are going to have a better time stopping
You're gonna
players
have an
because our
advantage.
hands
Yeah.
are on the side of the ball, under the ball, which is palming, and you're not even supposed to be allowed to do that. The Allen Iverson rule. Um, so the question is, if they're only doing that, then yeah, there is a much better chance of stopping them. But ultimately, no, I don't, because I think just with the jumping, the spins, the lobs, just passing it side to side. Like I said, back then we were really focused on the box. As we
Mhm.
spread out side to side, the defense is just too much. But
And
it's
so
like this.
basically they're not even stopping like this era's like third or fourth option on the team.
No, unless it's like an all-time great or something like that,
Right.
maybe
Okay.
then. But we just don't have the all-time greats on the 78 Nuggets. If you want to argue that, Kareem could hold his own with the sky hook and this, that, cool, I'm willing to
Yeah.
listen to that. But,
Yeah.
like a Dan Issel, who's a very good player, I just don't see him translating now. It's kind of like this. I was playing against some 10-year-olds the other day, and I was just working them, like 5-on-1, and I told them, y'all can't stop me. You can only hope to contain me.
Right. Yeah.
And that's just what
Exactly.
it is. So, so yeah, so I have the 23 Nuggets moving on as well. Let's go to the next team. It's the '09 Nuggets. They went 54 and 28. They were sixth in points. They were 18th in opponents' points. They had a simple rating system of eighth. Their pace was sixth. Offensive rating of seventh. Defensive rating of eighth. Net rating of eighth. They beat the Hornets in five. They beat the Mavs in fives. They lost to the Lakers in six. Their core guys were Billups, Anthony, Martin, Nene, J.R. Smith, Chris Anderson, Dante Jones, Linus Kleza, Anthony Carter. They're going to go up against the 85 Nuggets. They went 52 and 30. They were first in points, 22nd in opponents' points. Pace was first. Simple rating system was seventh. Score offensive rating was fifth. Defensive rating was 15th. Net rating was seventh. They beat the Spurs in five. They beat the Jazz in five, and they lost the Lakers in five. Their core guys were English Nat, Fat Lever, T.R. Dunn, Elston Turner, Dan Issel, Wayne Cooper, Mike Evans. Who you got?
Mm. Um, I think I kind of like the '09. I think I like '09 Nuggets a little better with Billups handling the ball. Carmelo, this is when he is going into beast mode. This is bully Melo. Yeah, I feel like that would be a tough team to actually contain.
No, I go with '09 as well. I think they're deeper. I think their players are better. I think they're longer. I think they have a little bit more of everything. The only thing that they didn't really have, and I don't think it matters with the '85 Nuggets because the Nuggets didn't have that either. Their leading
Mhm.
playoff rebounder was, Alex English at 6.6 rebounds a game. 7.5 was their leading rebounder with the '09 one. So yeah, that's the only thing I don't like about them. But against another team that doesn't have rebounding, doesn't really matter to me. So yeah, I would go with the '09 Nuggets. I have a question for you on this. If you
Mhm.
replaced Carmelo with LeBron on the '09 Nuggets, and then he had a core of Billups, Kenyon Martin, Nene, J.R. Smith, Chris Anderson, those type of guys, do you think they win a title?
LeBron plays team ball better than Melo does. So yeah, I do. I feel as though at
The
that point
Lakers
in
beat them
time,
4-2. Do you think they beat the
mhm,
Lakers that year? The Lakers beat the Nuggets 4-2. Do you think if LeBron went there, they that changes the series?
yeah, because realistically, that Denver Nuggets team with Melo had a shot. So you replace Melo with LeBron, who I feel as though, I mean, let me just keep it real. LeBron's better. He is. And maybe not a better 3-point shooter, or maybe not. Melo used to be considered that clutch player and everything like that, but LeBron then raised up on a clutch list. So the way I look at it is LeBron is, he's more aggressive than Melo. Like, that's not to say Melo's not aggressive. I just feel as though LeBron is more aggressive when it matters. You feel me? Melo can be mad aggressive during regular season games and stuff like that, but we don't really see Melo get too far in his
Okay.
playoff runs.
No,
LeBron's he's been proven. He's been proven. He's been playoff ready since like what? Was it rookie? Not rookie. Sophomore season, third season. All right, for sure.
so yeah, when he took he was up 3-2, and then they missed those free throws in game 6, and then they lost in game 7 to the Pistons. So
Yeah,
we're at the all-time Nugget final. '09 Nuggets versus the '23 Nuggets. Who you got?
I went with the champs on this one. It'd be hard to not go with the champs. I mean, one has proven they can do it when the other hasn't. Not only that though, comes down to Jokic is the best player.
By far?
See, you got by far. You feel me?
No,
Jokic is
I'm
the best
asking you.
player.
I'm asking you. Do you
Oh,
think by? I
is it
think
by
by
far?
far.
Um, it's hard to say. I mean, because when Melo gets offensive, when he goes on an offensive tears, then he can score with the best of them, but that does not make him a greater player or a better player than Joker is. So I feel like Jokic is a better all around player than Melo. Melo might be, the second best player, but then you got Jamal Murray coming in at a very distant third. And
Well, I would say Billups would be the second or third best player.
okay, Billups too. You feel me? But
Mm-hmm.
this is very close.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion. I honestly I put Murray above him, but at the same time, like it's not as big of a gap as it is with Jokic. So I feel as though that's really what it boils down to. Aside from that team, just that 23 roster, they're a little tougher.
Yeah, I go with that. The only thing I think Melo can keep up with Jokic, and if it's so, it's just a little better. And even then, I don't think it's a little better. It's he scores more, but he scores more at a lower clip.
Mhm.
So I would rather take the guy getting me 25, 26, shooting over 50%, than the guy getting me 28, shooting under 50%. And then when you factor, he blows him away. I think what's Melo's career high in assists? 4, maybe.
Right,
Um,
where
yeah, yeah.
is a
Jokic is always
distributor.
around 10, right? Melo's career high in rebounds is what, 8? Better rebounder. He's better at just keeping his arms. He's just a bigger body to go around as well. Yeah, I just like Jokic all the way around. Um, like I said, I like Murray for his athleticism and his ability to score. but but but
That
no, I was laughing at this. Joking's going to show that he's the real 15.
oh, snap. Oh, it got deep. That's real
So
though.
yeah, it's just way over that. I think they play better team ball. I think all the pieces complement each other. It seemed like a lot of times Melo was fighting it. Like Melo, George Carl said this in his book, and I don't know if you've been seeing the back and forth between Melo and George Carl, but basically, if Melo had like 15 points and they won, is what George Carl said, is he wasn't in a good mood. But if he had 30 points and they lost, he'd be trying to hype everybody up. He'd be in a good mood. So
I think yeah, cause J.R. Smith kind of said something where it was like kind of like not exactly that, but it was alluding to like there was no gelling on that team because J.R. Smith made a comment that was basically like he was only there to produce only so much and he was content with that. So it was like a lot of contentment with just personal accomplishments on that team. So as talented as they might have been, or as many people as they might have had that were athletic on that team, part of the reason we didn't see success is because mentally they weren't there because like you're describing, you got Melo who is cool with just putting up buckets, even if it don't translate to wins. And you got, people like J.R. Smith who thinking their job is to only come in and just give you 10. Like, it don't matter. All right, I made my 15.
well,
Like,
it's
that's just
like
not going to be helpful.
well, JR said this after he won a title with LeBron, and he didn't say no names, but I don't know who else he meant. He goes, "You just see a different when you see a real leader that's about winning, as opposed to just a talent that's out there because he's good at it." Um,
See, exactly.
or something like that. I don't remember the exact
Yeah,
quote,
exactly.
but that was basically it. And I would assume that was about Melo. So, and I'll give you another point example why Melo never won. If you watch, did you watch the Redeem Team documentary?
Nah.
Okay,
Oh,
so
actually, I caught some of it. What part you talking about?
okay, I'm talking about the part where they all went out to the club and then they got in the hotel late and Kobe was already up at 4 a.m. getting ready to hit the gym or whatever. I don't know if you saw that clip or not. But anyways, then if you see and then you see LeBron, Wade, and all them, they're talking about by the end of the week, they have adopted Kobe's training schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You
Melo
know,
wasn't having it.
and then Melo was like, it's too fucking early. I wasn't going. And we saw who won titles and we saw who didn't because I'll put it this way, like I said, I am not an extreme Kobe lover where, I'm like he's the second greatest, he's top 5. None of that. However, though, his worth ethic is crazy. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean the man's work and he put in the work to win titles and that's why he won. Simple as that.
His work
Um
ethic could be applied everywhere. It's not even just a basketball thing. That's why it's a mentality. But
right.
go ahead,
And
my
that
bad.
well that's what I'm saying. He put in the work and he liked the work and he was confused on that one documentary that I was talking about not too long ago, the Joseph Vincent one. He talks about that a lot of players play for the financial gain, and once they get the financial gain, their passion, their drive, their obsession is gone. And I mean, those are the type of things that make me real. I love everything about Kobe off the court. I just didn't like the way he played on the court. But I wish all these players that I really think that had a lot of talent, like Vince Carter, I wish he had Kobe's mindset off the court, and we could have really seen something. But
I
that's where that yeah. So let's get into the Thunder slash Supersonics. I have the 16 Thunder, the 15 Thunder, the 12 Thunder, um, the who was the other one? I had the 15 Thunder, the 16 Thunder, I had the 12 Thunder. I have the 96 Sonics, the 80 Sonics, the 79, and the 78. And then who else was it? Oh, I'm missing the 13. Yeah, and I got the 13 in there somewhere. So,
13 Sonics.
yeah, no, 13
I
Thunder.
mean 13 Thunder. Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, yeah, 13 Thunder. Okay, so first up, we're going to go with the 16 Thunder. They went 55 and 27. They had a simple rating of third, pace of 10th. They were second in points, 15 in points allowed, second in offensive rating, 13th in defensive rating, third overall. They beat the Mavs in 5. They beat the Spurs in 6. They lost to the Warriors in 7 when they gave up the 3-1 lead and Clay got hot in game 6. Their key guys were Durant, Westbrook, Ibaka, Adams, Waiter, Roberson, Cantor. Then after that, we are going with the 78 Sonics. They had, let me see here, where are we at here? They went 47 and 35. They were 18th in points, second in points allowed. They had an SRS of 6, pace of 16th, offensive rating of 19th, defensive rating of 3rd, net rating was 6. They beat the Lakers in 3. They beat the Blazers in 6. They beat the Nuggets in 6. And they lost to the Bullets in 7. They had Marvin Webster, Dennis Johnson, Jack Sikma, Gus William, Paul Silas, John Johnson, Fred Brown were their key guys. Who you got?
Um, I actually got the 16 Thunder.
Okay. Tell
I'm
me
going with
why.
the 16 Thunder. Had Clay not got hot, you feel me? Had they not been going up against that juggernaut Warriors team, you feel me? That historic Warriors team that they were going up against, we may have seen a different outcome in the finals. So I say them because at that point in time, this was one of the best teams in the league at that point. But not only that, they also had two of the best players currently in the league at that point in time as well. And Westbrook and Durant, they had a good little core unit around them of contributors. So yeah, I'm going with them.
Well, then I'm going with him too. I don't see any ways that the 78 Nuggets could stop KD, stop Westbrook's athleticism. Um, Even Cantor was crazy on the three. I can't see them defending Ibaka's threes. So it's
I don't see them defending Ibaka's nothing.
well, I mean that's sad if Ibaka's going off like that. So yeah, I just got the 16. I just think it's way too much firepower for them. Um, yeah, so let's move on. Next we have up the we're gonna go with the 79 Sonics who won the title. They went 52 and 30. They were 19th in points, first in points allowed. They had a simple rating score of 6. They had a pace of 18th, 14th in offensive rating, first in defensive rating, 6th in net rating. They beat the Lakers in 5. They beat the Suns in 7. They beat the Bullets in 5. They had Dennis Johnson, Jack Sikma, Gus Williams, John Johnson, Lonnie Shelton, Paul Silas, Fred Brown. We're going to go ahead and put them up against the 15 Thunder. The 15 Thunder missed the playoffs at 45 and 37, and there's a reason for that. They were fifth in points, 24th in points allowed, 11 in the simple rating, seventh in pace, 10th in offensive rating, 16th in defensive rating, 12th in net rating. You might ask, why am I picking a Thunder's team that missed the playoffs? Kevin Durant that year only played 27 games, but they had Westbrook, Durant, Ibaka, Cantor, Waiters, Reggie Jackson, Steven Adams, Anthony Morrow, DJ Augustine. Who you got? The 15 Thunder or the champs of 79?
I feel like even that 15th, unfortunately, this is one of those matchups where it seems like the younger team may be the maybe the better teams. But yeah, I'm going with 15. Like m- most of the same players as the 2016 team. The reason why they didn't see the success in the postseason is the absence of a KD with him in there. That's different, it's a different outcome.
Mm-hmm.
As you're saying, there's no answer on the 79 team for the caliber of a player that Kevin Durant is, nor Westbrook. Then you combine that with them having players like, I mean, even DJ Augustine, like this is a player that can get hot in a way that they weren't accustomed to. So yeah, it's just this. You said it best. It's too much firepower still.
No, I agree with you completely. I just don't see any way that the 15 the champs can go out. So the champs have to go out on that note. I am so sorry that happened to them. Let's go with the next step. We're going to have the 13 Thunder. They went 60 and 22. They were third in points. They were 10th in points allowed, 10th in pace. They had a first in the SRS. They had the first in offensive rating, fourth in defensive rating, first in net rating. They beat the Rockets in 6. They beat the Rockets in 6. They beat the Grizzlies in 5. And then their key guys were Durant, Westbrook, Reggie Jackson, Serge Ibaka, Kevin Martin, Thabo Cephalosha, Derek Fisher, Kendrick Perkins, Nick Collison. You may ask, why did they go out in the second round? Because Russell Westbrook got injured that playoffs. Just in case if you were curious, the next team up is we're going to go ahead and go with the 80 Sonics. They were coming off a title, 56 and 26, 12th out of 22, third out of 22 in opponent's points, 12th out of 22 in points per game. They had a simple rating score of third. Their pace was 16th, offensive rating of eighth, defensive rating of third, net rating of third. They beat the Blazers in three. They beat the Bucks in seven. Back when the Bucks were in the Western Conference still, and they lost to the Lakers in five. Same guys pretty much: Dennis Johnson, Gus Williams, Jack Sikma, John Johnson, Lonnie Shelton, Fred Brown. Uh, they're going up against the 12 Thunder. No, I'm sorry, the 13 Thunder. My bad. Continue. Who you got?
I'm 13 Thunder.
Same reasons.
Yeah, I mean, these teams from the 70s and the early 80s, they're just outmatched by these 2010 teams.
Right. No, I agree with that. Like I said, it's pretty much saying what I really like about the 13 Thunder though is the addition of Kevin Martin. That was another guy that was a bucket,
Love
had a
Kevin Martin.
really awkward shot, but with guys like Durant and Westbrook sucking in the D, kicking out to a guy like that could really hit a bucket. That would have been good. It's too bad Westbrook got hurt. I would really like to see what, if they were healthy, them going up against the Grizzlies or the Spurs or the Heat even, that would have been a good one as well, especially in the rematch. So there we go. We got the 13. Let's go to the finals, Thunder, the only finals team that made it from the Kevin Durant Westbrook era. They went 47 and 19. They were third in points. They were 17th in opponents' points. They had a simple rating score of third. They had a pace of sixth. They had an offensive rating of second, defensive rating of 11th, net rating of third. They swept the Mavs. They beat the Lakers in five, and that was Kobe's last playoffs. They beat the Spurs in six. They lost to the Heat in five. They had guys like, Durant, Westbrook, Harden, Ibaka, Perkins, Fisher, Cephalosha, Nick Collison. We're going to put them up against the 96 Sonics, another finals team. They went 64 and 18. They went they were second in points. They were eighth in opponents' points. They had a simple rating score of second. Pace was third. Offensive rating of eighth. Defensive rating of second. Net rating of second. They beat the Kings in four. They swept the Rockets. They beat the Jazz in seven. They lost to the Bulls in six. They had guys like Peyton, Shrimp, Kemp, Hawkins, Perkins, McMillan, Askew, Johnson, Irvin Johnson. That is. Who you got? 96 Sonics or the 12 Thunder?
I'm actually going with the 96 Sonics on this one.
Tell me
Um,
why.
things that stick out to me are things like their record for the season at 64 and 18, with them being, you said, second in defense as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so not only are they succeeding, but they're making sure that teams aren't really scoring on them, and that's important because that's how you're gonna win games. They
Mm.
got players like Kemp, players like Gary Payton, Perkins. They may not be as offensive threats as Durant and Westbrook, but I feel as though they do have the defensive pieces that are going to help them to get past, or to at least minimize their scoring potential on the 2012 team. Also, that team lost. They lost in five to the Heat.
They did.
Yeah, that'd be dope to watch. So, yeah, and then whereas you have the 96 Sonics, they're losing to this Dynasty Bulls team. So yeah, I'm going with 96.
Well, can't we say that the Thunder lost to the Heatles?
Lost to the who?
The Heatles?
Oh, the Heatles. I
Yeah.
mean, would but would they? I mean, would they be considered a dynasty team? Like,
I don't know. I mean, they were supposed to win not 7, not 8, not 12, not 20, not 40, not 100, not 6 million. They're supposed to still be winning. And so I don't know. I think overall I like the talent better on the 12. Like I said, I'm gonna give you the first vote, so I'm gonna go against you. I would say the 12, but 96 moving on. We gave you the tiebreaker vote. Um, I think that, like he said, I think the Peyton Westbrook matchup would be good.
It'd be dope.
Going to be a whole lot of pettiness, a lot of shit talking,
Oh,
a lot of
that team
craziness.
fight. That team's gonna fight. That team will fight.
Um, yeah, like he said too, Durant did play great in the 2012 finals, but it seemed like he played empty. It seems like all his points and everything he was doing was like, for naught. It wasn't impact plays, it wasn't anything like that. So yeah, so I would go with the 12, but 96 is moving on because that is the tiebreaker. So let's go ahead and get rid of these guys. All right. Next up, we're going to go ahead and go with the 13 Sonics, the one where Westbrook got hurt. Key players are Durant, Westbrook, Jackson, Ibaka, Martin, Cephalosha, Fisher, Perkins. And we're going right back to that 96 Sonics team. Who you got from 13 to 96?
Um, this one I'm going with 13. Actually, I know I just put 96 in there, but I am going with 13. They're too deep. They're too deep. Fisher, Parker, Perkins, Durant, Westbrook. Yeah, it's too much going on. I don't think there's enough on the 96 team to find an answer for that many players.
Well, what about Kemp versus Ibaka?
I mean, Ibaka might get a couple blocks in. He might get a block a game still. Although Kemp is gonna post. I mean, I don't think it changes either one of them. Ibaka still gets a block or still gets the blocks that he do, but Kemp still gets to posterize somebody because he's not gonna quit coming. It's not like if he gets blocked, he's not gonna dunk again. He gonna
So
catch you slipping.
So I'm gonna switch up here. I'm gonna go 96 Sonics. And I'm gonna go 96 Sonics based off your vote. If the 96 Sonics can beat a James Harden, and we switch James Harden for Kevin Martin, I like Harden better. Harden, obviously, we've seen what Harden can do. He was in a more limited role, but he can put it on the floor. He can distribute. He can dish. Here's a secret: that dude can even play defense when he wants to. He just never wants to. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give the 96 Sonics the edge on that. The next matchup we got is the 16 Thunder versus the 15 Thunder. Um, I'm just gonna tell you who I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with the 16 Thunder simply because I think Adams and Cantor were more developed by then. And that's really the only reason why I'm going with them over the 15 Thunder. Who you got?
No arguments there. That's fine. Yeah, that's cool.
So we got the 50. So we have the 16 Thunder versus the 96 Sonics. Who you got?
I'm going with the 16 Thunder over the 96. For many of the same reasons that I said when I was mentioning the 2013, but yeah, 2016.
Yeah,
That's who
no.
I'm going with. That's my pick.
They just said the one that has Durant and Westbrook. That's the one you should take if you're battling out the 15 versus 16. So, oh yeah, I'm gonna go with the 16 Thunder too. I think. Who do you put on Durant in that regards? What are we doing? Are we going with Sean Kemp on Durant? We going with Sam Perkins? We going with someone like a Hershey Hawkins? Um, yeah, I'm gonna go with the 16. Like I said, I think they have the best player in the series, so
And
we're
to
gonna
be
go ahead.
honest,
Hmm.
not that it would matter, but they would have to put the least offensive person on Kevin Durant. That way they have energy to come down the court and still score. So yeah, they have to put the person that they don't want the ball in their hands on Durant.
No, I agree with that. So next up, we got the Blazers. So there you have it. We have the 16 Thunder as the best Thunder team out of them all. Um, and we probably fucked it up and got it wrong, but we'll see where that goes. Next up, we have the Blazers, and this is our last one. I went ahead and did 8 teams for the Blazer. One's kind of complimentary. I did the 19 Blazers. I did the 2000 Blazers. I did the 99 Blazers. I did the 92 Blazers, the 91 Blazers, the 90 Blazers, the 78 and 77 Blazers.
You said 78 and 77?
Yeah. Any other ones you want to do?
Nah, we should be good with this.
Okay, so first up, we're going to go ahead and we are going to go with the 2019 Portland Trail Blazers. They were 53 and 29. They were sixth in points. They were 14th in points allowed. They had a simple rating score of 6. They had a pace of 18th. They had an offensive rating of 3rd, defensive rating of 16th, net rating of 7th. They beat the Thunder in 5. They beat the Nuggets in 7. They got swept by the Warriors. Their key guys were Lillard, McCollum, Cantor, Al Farouk Aminu, Maurice Harkless, Rodney Hood, Seth Curry, Zach Collins, Myers Leonard, and Evan Turner. We're going to go ahead and put them up against the 91 Blazers. They went 63 and 19. They were third in points. They were 16th in points allowed. They had a simple rating score of 2nd. They had a pace of 4th. They had an offensive rating of 2nd. They had a defensive rating of 3rd. They had a net rating of 2nd. They beat the Sonics in 5. They beat the Jazz in 5. They lost to the Lakers in 6. They had guys like Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, Cliff Robinson, Danny Ainge, Mark Bryant, and an extremely old Walter Davis. Who you got, 91 or 2019?
I'm going with 91. They're third in points that season. Third in defense that season. They got a better record, 63 and 19. They have a Hall of Famer in Drexler. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, I'm going with the
2019.
19. No, I take that back. I'm going with the 91 by far. And if it wasn't for Damian Lillard, I would say they would sweep. I could see Damian Lillard getting hot in a game, and that's about it. I just don't see that team. I think that team played well together. Um, yeah, they were deep at every position. They didn't have superstars, but they were deep. Like your back up to Drexler was Danny Ainge. There was an all-star guy who played averaged 20 points in one season. So yeah, it's just they were deeper. So I'm gonna go ahead and go with them. Um, Next up, we're gonna go ahead and go with the 2000 Portland Trailblazers. They were 59 and 59 and 23. They were 16th in points, 3rd in opponents' points, 2nd in simple rating score, 25th in pace, 3rd in offensive rating, 5th in defensive rating, 2nd in net rating. They beat the Timberwolves in 4. They beat the Jazz in 5. They lost to the Lakers in 7 in that famous meltdown. Um, if you give me a minute, I'll give you who they had. They had Scottie Pippen, Steve Smith, Rasheed Wallace, Arvydas Sabonis, Damon Stoudemire, Brian Grant, Detlef Schrempf, Greg Anthony, Bonzi Wells, Stacey Augmon, and Jermaine O'Neal. We're gonna go ahead. We're gonna go ahead and put them up.
Bro, that is too ridiculous of a team. Like, this is before super teams, but
Well, we're
you
gonna
gotta
put them
take
up
your
as super champs.
you gotta take a breath before saying how many good players they had at one. You feel me? These may not be all-time greats or nothing like that, but for that season, for that time in the league, these are all good players you just named. That's crazy.
That's what always upsets me. Going back to the Kobe Bryant thing, when they say Kobe Bryant, he's the only player to do this without a top 75 teammate and all that. Well, first off, if you watched Powell that year, he was one of the best players in the league. So it doesn't matter. It was like one of the best players in the league, the seasons that they won the titles. Secondly, the guys that they were beating, like the 48 win Jazz, well, they had no top 75 players. And they won 65 games one year. And 50, they had home court every round they played those 2 years. So you got to look at the context of what the player's doing that season.
Mhm.
Carmelo Anthony's a way bigger name than Grayson Allen. Who would you
Mhm.
rather have on your team right now, Grayson Allen or Carmelo Anthony?
Grayson.
Because Carmelo's probably still good enough to make the league.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
he'd be what, 6'8" a game, something like that. Wouldn't be very good. So that's what I'm saying. You got to look at the context. So we're going to go ahead and put those 2000 Blazers up against the champs, the 77 Blazers. They went 49 and 33. They were third in points. They were ninth in points allowed. Simple rating score of first, pace of seventh, offensive rating of second, defensive rating of fifth, net rating of fifth. They beat the Bulls in three back when the Bulls were in the Western Conference. They beat the Nuggets in six. They beat the Lakers in a sweep, and then they beat the Sixers in six. They had guys like Bill Walton, Maurice Lucas, Lionel Hollins, Bob Gross, Johnny Davis, your boy Dave Twardzik, Herm Gilliam, Larry Steele, Lloyd Neal. Who you got? You got the 77 Blazers. You got the 2000 Blazers.
I think I'm gonna go with the 2000 Blazers, just based on how deep that team was. It's too much to try to overcome. Credit to the 77 Blazers because they look like a very parallel team, even better on paper. But then when it comes down to the players and it comes down to the roster, the 2000 Blazers roster is a little too heavy.
See, I would actually go with the 77 Blazers in this just because Bill Walton plays like today's game, except without a
Yeah,
three-pointer because there was no three-point line. And if they had a three-point line, he would have been playing like that too.
and
So
if you
I'm going to
come in
go
the
with
lane, he gonna knock you down.
right, right. And he was awesome. He was awesome at defense, awesome at rebounding, passing, blocks. He just wasn't much of a scorer. Um, yeah, actually, Woodage, we just brought that up. How they swept the Lakers that year. So they Walton did sweep a prime Kareem. Um, yeah, so I would go with the 70. However, though it's your turn, so I'm outvoted anyways. But yeah,
Nah, I mean, honestly though, I mean that's compelling enough to where, I don't even care. You can advance
no, no,
that.
no, we're keeping the vote. We're going with you. We got to keep this consistent. So we're going with you on this. But I just think they had the best player and all that. But I have no problem with the 2000 Blazers beating them anyways. So it's kind of a toss up for me. I think it's a 7-game series. I just like whatchamacallit. What's the word I'm looking for? I like Walton as the best player.
Okay, that's fair.
So yeah, so we got them moving on. Next up, we're gonna go ahead and go with the 78 Blazers. They started off the season 50-10, and then Walton broke his foot and was never the same again. They were just looking like they were just going to kill the league. They were blowing out teams. We actually did a profile of this on an old podcast. If you guys care to watch it, um, yeah, they were 12th in points. They were first in opponents' points. They were first in simple rating score, 18th in pace. They were fourth in offensive rating, second in defensive rating, and first in net rating. And if I had to guess over the first 60 games, they would probably be first in all these things. But their core guys were Maurice Lucas, Lionel Hollins, Johnny Davis, Tom Owens, Larry Steele, Bill Walton. We're going to go ahead and we're going to put them up against the 90 Portland Trailblazers. They went 59 and 23. Were fourth in points, 19th in opponent's point. They were third in simple rating score, fourth in pace. They were ninth in offensive rating. They were fourth in defensive rating, fourth in net rating. They swept the Mavs. They beat the Spurs in seven. They beat the Suns in six, and they lost to the Pistons in five. They had guys like Drexler, Kersey, Porter, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, Cliff Robinson, a young Drazen Petrovic. Who you got? The 90 Blazers or the 78 Blazers?
I'm going with I mean, the 78 Blazers is without Walton, or Walton still gets to
No,
get
no, no.
included
With this, we're doing at the peak.
at the peak. Okay. So I'm going with 78 Blazers.
Yeah, I got to go with 78 Blazers too. They were just killing teams. 90 to 78 is only 12 years difference on top of it. So if we're talking like, a lot of those guys would still be playing in the league with one another, if you were really good and all that. So um yeah, that's like kind of like that first Heat championship team if they couldn't contend with the team now. Um
Hmm.
prime LeBron, prime Wade, things like that. So yeah, I would go with the 78 Blazers as well. just for the simple fact that once again they had the best player. Moving on, now we have the 92 Blazers, who went 57-25. They were fourth in points per game. They were 12th in opponents' points per game. They had a simple rating score of second. They had a pace of sixth. They had an offensive rating of seventh, defensive rating of third, net rating of second. They beat the Lakers in four. They beat the Suns in five. They beat the Jazz in six. They lost to the Bulls in six. The famous series where Mike hit the 6 threes in the first half and just shrugged with it. So we're going to put them up against the 99 Blazers, who went 35-15 in a lockout shortened season, which translates to roughly about 58 wins. They were fifth in points, 10th in opponents' points, second in simple rating score, 12th in pace, eighth in offensive rating, sixth in defensive rating, third in net rating. Their guys were Brian Grant, Rasheed Wallace, Isaiah Ryder, Damon Stoudemire, Arvydas Sabonis, Jim Jackson, Greg Anthony, Walt Williams, Stacey Augmon, and Jermaine O'Neal. Who you got? You got the 99 Blazers or you got the 92 Blazers?
Once again, this team is just way too deep.
So you're
I'm
going
going with the
99 Blazers?
I'm going with the 99 Blazers.
I'm going to go ahead and go 92 Blazers because I don't think the 99 Blazers had a superstar or anybody that was, I mean, maybe Jermaine O'Neal, but it was only his third season in the league and he was 20 and didn't play. So they just never had a star. So I am going to lead towards the 92 Blazers just because
Cool.
of the simple star power, but not really happy about it. Let's keep it moving. We have the 78 Blazers that we just went over with. Remember Maurice Lucas, Lionel Hollins, Johnny Davis, Tom Owens, Larry Steele, Bill Walton. We're going to put them up against the 91 Blazers, who had Clyde Drexler, Terry Porter, Jerome Kersey, Buck Williams, Kevin Duckworth, Cliff Robinson, Danny Ainge. Who you got, 91 or 78?
This tiebreaker's on you. I kind of like the 91
No,
Blazers.
it's on you.
It's on me.
It's on you. You got the 91 Blazers?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going 78 Blazers. Like I said, I think they were just killing it. Because last time I voted, what was it, 78 Blazers, and you had somebody. No, you had the 92. No. Yeah, you had the 92,
92
I think.
still in it.
No. You had the 90, I'm sorry.
Oh, dang. For sure, for sure.
Yeah. So anyways, yeah. So I'm going 78. You're going 91.
Yeah.
So same reasons why you went 90 over them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well then we have to go with that. So now next up we have the 92 Blazers against the 2000 Blazers. Now I'm just going to tell you, I'm going 2000 Blazers here. I think Pippen remembers the team well. I think he tells the team what's up. I think with guys like Steve Smith and Scottie Pippen and Rasheed, and I'll tell you one thing, I don't really see him having an answer for Bonzi. Bonzi Wells was a beast on the block. So yeah, I got the 2001 there. You got 2000, you got 92.
I got 2000 as well.
So the 92's out. So all we got left now is the 91 Blazers against 2000.
Ooh.
And the 91 Blazers were pretty much the same team as the 92, so I don't even know how you could vote different.
Yeah, it sucks. Instead of one with 78. Anyway, I'm going with 2000 Blazers.
There you have it. We both went with 2000. That is the best team we think in the Blazers history. Maybe 78, but I was outvoted. But nonetheless, 2000 is where it's at, and that's not really a bad choice. They went about 12 deep. They had a all-timer in Scottie Pippen leading the way, although he was old and more well-rounded at the time. They had a young talent in Rasheed Wallace, and he might be the what's the word I'm looking at? One of the most talented players ever that never put it together. But that's it. That's it for tonight from the HoopStorians. Please check back in tomorrow. Please like and subscribe. Until then, we will check y'all tomorrow. We will be dropping
Sorry
dimes
about
like
that.
Dari.